Peace. Welcome to Faith Expressions. I would like us to take on some devout acts in relation to the Eucharist. The Eucharist, first and foremost, when we go to Mass, when we receive Holy Communion, the Holy Eucharist is at the center of Christian life. And so it is fitting that we should cultivate a devotion to the Holy Eucharist. And there are acts that can also show our devotion and adoration of the Lord Jesus Christ in the Blessed Sacrament. So first and foremost is the preparation. We prepare well in going to Mass. And so there is a prayer before going to Mass. And also it is good to arrive earlier, punctually, before the Mass starts, so that you can pray your prayer before Mass, which also already begins your longing to be united, to be in communion with the Lord Jesus when you receive Him in the Holy Communion. And then after that, give thanks after your receiving of communion or after the Mass. The second one is the act of receiving the Lord in Holy Communion. Some people receive through the mouth, some people receive through the hands. And so these practices, both of them come from ancient times, olden times. But what is important is we do this with devotion, with reverence. We receive with our mouth, we receive with the hands. Most especially with these hands, many times nowadays this is most likely that we use. So left hand over right hand. And then the right hand, we pick the Lord, the body of the Lord, and then like that. I don't know if according to how you do it, maybe you are a left-handed, so you put the right hand and then, but the ideal act is the right hand is the one that picks the Lord to bring to your mouth, and always should be at the level of your chest, like that. Many times this becomes very it's automatic, or so to say, people doesn't mind it, putting it down, putting it everywhere. There should be a deliberate and consciousness in receiving the Lord, so that you are not there just like one who just go and receive something. So the idea here is the bread has become the body of the Lord, and the living body is with the blood of the Lord. And so we treat the host, the consecrated host, as Jesus Christ Himself, humanity, divinity, really present, whole of Him. And so I receive Him on my hand or on my mouth with a lot of devotion, with a lot of reverence, with a lot of respect, and a lot of honor. The third one is the idea of bowing and genuflecting. It is really good. I admire people who, when they enter the church, they bow slowly and not just, and then they also genuflect reverently. Of course, I am not speaking if you have some ailment that you cannot bow or make a genuflection. I am speaking of the ordinary, the usual. Many times we make many exceptions when they are not exceptions. What I want us to inculcate in our mind and in our heart is the devotion and the willingness to truly connect to the Lord and relate to the Lord from the heart. Would you treat the Lord, the one whom you call your Lord and Master, in a way that is very, it's okay, treating the Lord in a half-hearted way. We have our own ideals. I believe it would be ideal to always relate to the Lord and give Him acts that truly is of the ideal, that is honorable, that is with devotion and with respect. And the last one is, it is also good to visit the church. When you are going to the work, if you have some time during lunch break, you can stop by a church, or you're coming back home from work to home. If you happen to pass by a church, go visit. There is good always in trying to put Jesus in our daily routine. Whether every day or during the week, to visit Him. I like always the prayer of spiritual communion. I wish, Lord, to receive you with purity, humility, and devotion, with which your Blessed Mother Mary receives you, with the spirit and fervor of the saints. You see, the spiritual communion, you are not at Mass, so you are visiting the Lord. You can receive Him in that way. Or this could also be used when you feel you are in the church, you are attending the church and celebrating the Holy Eucharist on a Sunday, and you don't feel actually receiving the Lord sacramentally because you are bothered in your conscience. There is sin that is present. Recite the spiritual communion. Ask the Lord spiritually to come to you in mercy and love. I believe in these three: the preparation to receive the Lord, the preparation to go to Mass, and the prayer before Mass, and the prayer after Mass, or before communion, after communion, and then the receiving, and then the visitation, and then the bowing and the genuflecting. These are simple actions that we can do. If we can do them well, with a lot of devotion, a lot of love, a lot of reverence, I believe before the Lord this will mean a lot, and this will help enrich our spiritual life in relation to the Holy Eucharist.